Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to PlotCon. We're super excited to have you here. We're super excited to start PlotCon and start our first session here, the keynote. I am Cameron Sutter, and we've got the cute Plotter otters here with me. And I want to start with this quote that I had up at the beginning. I love this quote. It says, "Around here, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths." And that's a great quote from Walt Disney. It comes from one of my all-time favorite movies, Meet the Robinsons. They use that quote a lot, the keep moving forward part of it. I cry every time. My kids laugh at me and they know I'm going to cry, but I love this movie. It's really great. So I want to start by explaining to you how PlotCon is going to work and what to expect and what the sessions are like and when they are. And then we're going to get into some really exciting announcements for this first event. And just as an kind of an announcement, we're going to be using the hashtag PlotCon. If you reference this on socials or anywhere. So if you can use that, then we'll be able to find it easier. So PlotCon, this is kind of a different thing that we're pioneering. We're going to have some really great sessions and some really fun games that are interactive. And we're going to help you to hopefully get over the roadblock or the fear or whatever's holding you back from getting that outline made so you can write your story. And before I go into more detail on that, I need to say that yes, there will be replays and they'll be up for 24 hours after the events on our different channels, X and YouTube and Facebook and all those. And then after that, they're going to be removed, except for this session. I believe this session will stay up indefinitely. And if you get the pass, so there's a couple ways to get the replays. So if you get the pass that was on our website, or if you're part of our community, they're going to be in the vault, and then they'll also be on the replay store, which we'll give you links to later. But just so that you all know that there will be replays and how to get them. So day one, that's the day, tonight, for some of us, our focus is on planning, and these announcements that we're making here in this keynote. And we chose this time because it's a little inconvenient for us, but hopefully it's convenient for many other time zones. It's always hard to find and choose a good time zone, but we felt like hopefully this would be a good time for the most amount of people to be able to join us. So hopefully you're able to watch this and it's a good time for you. And for some of you, it's a little late, but being in different parts of the world, some people are used to joining these things at like 2:00 in the morning. So hopefully it's not that time for you. But tonight, our first session is this keynote, of course. And then right after that, we're doing a deep dive into something secret that I can't tell you about yet, but I will later this hour. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, we have a game, one of our first games, and it is going to help you to plot your novel in less than an hour. This is an interactive game, but it's focused on you plotting your story. And that's important because not all the games are about that. And hopefully within that hour, you're going to get your story, at least the bones of an outline, done. And this game was actually what helped me figure out my current book, kind of get past my roadblocks and just start writing. And that's one of the things we're trying to do here is help you with the tools and the skills and getting over the fears or whatever's blocking you so that you can get that outlined. And hopefully next year, 2025, you can start the year off running or hit the ground running is the phrase, and write that novel finally in 2025. So this game is going to help you do that. And then at 11 Eastern, Jordan, our head marketing guru, is going to instruct us on using the idea folder template in Plottr. And it's going to help you get your year organized, your writing year organized, so that you're ready to go for 2025. And tomorrow we focus a lot on plotting and characters. And so we start off at 8 p.m. Eastern with another one of our games. It's a world building game where we're going to work together as everybody on the session, and we're all going to build a world together in a really fun, interactive way. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to talk about character creation and their emotional wounds. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're going to show how you can use Plottr to have deep character arcs and visualize them really easily. And then 11 p.m. Eastern, we have a fun session that's called What's Better Than a Subplot? Using Plottr to Map Out Your Submerged Plot. Oops, I pushed the button. Hopefully you caught that, but that's going to be a really good session. And then day 3, this is on Saturday. The times are different here, so note that it starts in the morning. It's 11 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to do a deep dive into another secret thing that we're going to announce later at this session. And day 3 is focused on things that are beyond the plot. That's kind of our idea there. And so at 1 p.m. Eastern, there's a gap in there on purpose. We had to move some things around. So at 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be talking about using Plottr at each stage of the writing process and how it's useful from start to end. And then a session on self-editing, the writer's guide to systematic structural self-editing. And at 3 p.m. Eastern, how to use technology to make your editing process simple and efficient. At 4 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a fun panel where we're going to talk about what makes an unforgettable story. So it's going to be me and some of our writing friends. We're going to talk about the stories that have really had an impact on us and the characters and the plots that we love and what makes an unforgettable story. And hopefully that will spark some ideas for you. Hopefully you'll see what has worked for other people and what has really impacted them. And it'll give you some sparks maybe of an idea for your stories, or just inspire you to keep writing, because it really does affect people's lives. And then we're going to end at 5 p.m. Eastern, or the last session starts at 5 p.m. Eastern on our Saturday. It's our final game. It's going to be another world building game, but this one's done differently and by a different person, world building for any genre. And that's going to be another fun game, an interactive game where I believe we build a world together as a team. So that's how PlotCon, those are the sessions, and that's how it's going to work each day. And the sessions will be about 50 minutes each, and we're going to take a 10-minute break in between, and then we'll start on the hour at the next one. That's the plan. That's what we'll be shooting for. So one of the purposes of PlotCon is to help you get over that roadblock, help you get that inspiration, help you to have the skills or the time to plot out your story so that, like I said, in 2025, you can hit the ground running. The other purpose of PlotCon is to celebrate writing, just being writers. I was talking about this with Troy, the head of operations here at Plottr, the other day, of how cool it is to be working in the writing industry. Storytelling is something that's been done since the beginning of humankind. It's one of the most significant cultural things that humans have done consistently, is telling stories. And to be part of that and to impact people's lives and to give them a cool experience and to see their responses is such a cool feeling. And so I love being a writer. I personally am a writer. If you don't know that, I'm writing my own stories. And also on another level of us as a team at Plottr, being able to help other writers to make more impactful stories and change the world and give people these amazing experiences. We just love it. We love serving writers and being a part of this community. And we're so excited for that. And we wanted to celebrate that a little bit this weekend with you. And so that's the other reason for PlotCon, is hopefully you can feel that. And hopefully you feel inspired by this weekend. I really hope that. So in order to start that, I want to tell you a little bit about our origin story, Plottr's origin story. And this will be quick, but it's been 10 years since I started Plottr. It was 2014 when I started writing the code. I was in a writing group in my job at the time, and we would meet during lunch, and we were just trying to imagine what our perfect tool would be. And I just started building it. I saw in my mind this, I wanted to be able to see all the pieces of the story that were going on, because there's so much going on in a story. I wanted to see all of that and see how it weaves together, all those threads. And so I just started building it as a side project, just as a hack week, 1 week, if you know what a hack week is. And then I kept working on it. And in about 2015, 2016, I posted a beta of it on some forums. And like I suspected, the admins didn't like that I was promoting a tool that I had built. But I felt like it was helping people and it was free at the time. So I thought, I'll just put it on there. And they didn't like it, but they kept it on there. And that's where I got hundreds of people to try it out. And they told me that it was super valuable. And that gave me encouragement to keep going. So I kept working on it on the side. It was just a little project. I was writing, working, having a family, and building Plottr. And then in 2017, I launched it as a paid app, and it was like an official app finally, but it was still just a side project. I remember sitting in my kitchen that day with family gathered around. I hit the button, and we were waiting to see if anybody would buy it, and people did, and it was super exciting. And the kids don't even remember that; they're too young, but we remember it, and it was exciting. And then I kept working on it, and in 2020, I took a leap of faith, and I left my full-time job, and I started doing this full time. We relaunched it 2.0, and then in 2022, the Plottr Otter was created, and we fell in love with that little otter. And then this year, 2024, we feel like has been a rebirth for us. There's been so many changes in our team and in our focus and our vision for the future that we feel like this has been such a powerful year for us. And we're so excited for the future. And so we want to kind of tell you what our vision for Plottr's future and where we're working towards, what that's going to be. But to stay at the origin for a minute here, I had a problem with logos before. I couldn't choose the right logo. I had this thing with penguins. My kids have always loved penguins, and I chose a bunch of different logos, and some of them made it to the app and some didn't, but it was just kind of this funny thing where I would change the logo often before we landed on the one that we know and love today. And I want to take a minute to tell you about our team. I love our team. And sometimes when you talk to a company, you don't know how big they are. And sometimes a lot of companies try and act like they're bigger than they are or act more important, but we love our size. I love how we're a small team, and we love that. There's 8 of us total. A 9th one just joined us actually, but we love our team size. We love working together, or at least I love working with all of them. Hopefully they love working with me. But so to tell you just for a minute about our team, we've got Sarmad on the left here from Pakistan. He's a super brilliant guy. In the middle, we have Gianna from the Philippines. And her sister actually just joined us for a couple hours every week to help me stay organized. So Jen just joined the team. We don't have a picture of her yet. And then Lisa, or LB from Spain, she's on the right there. And then we had Ed on the left, or I didn't tell you, sorry. So Gianna is one of our developers, and LB is our education lady. She does educational events and our Plottr 101s. So then Ed on the left here is our lead developer, and Jordan on the right is our head marketing guru. They actually both live in South Africa, in the same city, in Cape Town. It's a beautiful city, by the way. The mountains and the beach right next to it. It's so beautiful. And they just happen to live in the same city. We weren't looking for people in there. And Ed actually moved to Cape Town, so he wasn't always living there. But they just happen to live in the same city, and we love those two. And then these two we didn't mean to find in the same city. So this is Holly and Troy. Holly answers the tech support. Oh, and I didn't tell you, Sarmad also answers tech support, and he does QA for us. I didn't mention what he did. Sorry, Sarmad. So Holly answers tech support for us and does a bunch of other things. And Troy is our head of operations. I lean on him for so many things. And I just need to tell you for a second that I love these two. These two are awesome. They're sitting in the wings here off stage, so you can't see them, but they are so awesome. They're so good people. They really focus on serving writers and helping people and helping you. And they're so focused on that. And I just love them for that. And they've come to my house, and our kids have played video games together, and we've hung out, and they're just great people. And I can't say enough about them. They're just great people. And we love having them on the team. They are true otters in the full sense of the word. Well, not the full sense of the word, not literally. But to toot our horn for a minute here, we feel like we do software a little differently. And to try and explain that a little bit, we demo to each other a lot. That's one way to say it, but it's collaborating. We collaborate a lot. The whole team has input into how the software works, and everybody sees it. Everybody, education, tech support, development, marketing, everybody gets together and we talk about features that we're building and are they going to actually serve writers? Are they easy to use? We really focus on those things. And the other thing that's important is we make missteps. We make mistakes. Creativity is a very messy process. Hopefully you writers will know that it's not just, oh, I have an idea and then step one, step two, published book. That's not how creativity works. It's very much a messy process with back and forth. And sometimes you just have to put things out there to see how people will react. And so we ask for your grace a little bit for when we make mistakes to tell us. You can be mad, whatever. We don't care about that. It shows us how passionate you are, and we don't mind that. But we'd love for you to tell us where we made mistakes so that we can fix them. And we're still finding this out and trying to figure out what are the best tools for writers. So we'd love for you to tell us and to give us a little grace when we do make mistakes. In fact, this year, we almost made a couple mistakes. We almost launched two features that we just had to scrap them. One was an AI feature or a set of features, excuse me. And they probably would have been very cool and probably people would have paid a lot of money for them, but they just felt too much like a toy and not like a tool that would really be useful for people. And they weren't easy enough to use. So we just end up not completely scrapping them. They're still on the back burner. They're still coming. They're still in the works. And I think we have a good way forward now on that feature, but we didn't want it to get out to people before it was good enough. But it's amazing to see where we've come from that little side project to now over 40,000 writers have been served. And I think that number is like 50,000, but I didn't want to put it if it wasn't true. But it's really exciting to have served so many people, especially thinking that I just made this tool for myself in my own writing. And over 100,000 projects have been created in Plottr. And that's probably 100,000 series that have been written out there. And it's just amazing to think about. So with that as a backdrop, I'm really excited to get to the things that we want to tell you, our announcements that we're so excited about. And let me drink here for a second. And so first, we're going to talk about our merch store, our replay store, and what we're calling the vault. And to do that, I'm going to hand it over to Jordan. And it's like 3 o'clock in the morning for him. So we just had him record this for us. And so let me play that.
Hi, and welcome to PlotCon. I'm Jordan Canty, marketing lead at Plottr. This year we branched out in many exciting ways, and we couldn't have done it without you, our valued community. Besides releasing several top requested features this year, including Outline V2, Plottr to Plottr import, and search and replace, we also launched several initiatives that are all about celebrating storytelling and this great community. We also loved reading and adjudicating your entries to our Plotlines contest this year. Plottr fan Ava's winning entry captured the ethos of Plottr well. Change the world, plot the adventure, enjoy the journey. Keep an eye out for more fun contests coming in 2025. We also launched the Plottr merch store this year, where you can find mugs and tees featuring our mascot Plottr Otter, funny and dad joke-worthy slogans, and even limited edition Otter plushies, handmade by family members of Team Plottr. Here's Cameron, our CEO, and his wife Melexis, with the proud winner of an Otter plushie at Author Nation Indie AuthorCon in Las Vegas. We love how you're even customizing and accessorizing your merch. As you know, Plottr is all about making things your own, customizing everything to suit your style. We also created the Plottr Replay Store this year, where you can buy or rent replays of writing events like the Summit. Explore the store on plottedu.gumroad.com. Another service we released this year is the Plottr Vault. This is a library of past educational events on the membership.io platform, free to Plottr Plus Community Plan members. The Vault's versatile features include the ability to download event replays as audio, text, or video so you can enjoy them the way you like, and AI-powered search that finds answers from the library with time-stamped references. This feature is great for finding that one point you remember from a webinar way back and want to revisit, or just answering a craft-related question faster, backed by book industry pros insights. PlotCon will be coming to the Vault, and we have awesome events planned for 2025, so stay tuned. And now for a PlotCon exclusive merch announcement. You can now get the annual limited edition Otter Bottle. It shows our mascot plotting and daydreaming, leaning peacefully against a tree. It's a bit of an homage to Peanuts, the beloved Charles M. Schulz comic, which many of us on Team Plottr also love. It's double-walled to keep beverages hot or cold for long writing sessions and conferences, and made from sustainable stainless steel. And it's available in several colors such as sea glass, dusty blue, deep teal, and black. We'll be launching a new design annually, so don't miss out if you want this year's bottle. I can't wait to celebrate stories and your writing wins into next year with you, and I hope you have a wonderful time with us here at PlotCon.
Thanks, Jordan. Although you can't hear me at the moment. Oh. I want to highlight a couple things that he mentioned here. Our merch store is at merch.plottr.com. We have cute otter things and plotter things. Our replay store is at plotteredu.gumroad.com. And the cool thing about this is you can either buy or rent educational material. So being able to rent it and then, that was useful and you can be done with it. You don't have to keep it forever. So really cool. And then our limited edition 2024 Otter Bottle that is super cute. Jordan did an amazing job of making this look so good. It comes in different colors and there's a couple different styles of bottles. And we're thinking of making this a tradition annually to create a new Otter Bottle. So this is this year's Otter Bottle, and we hope you love it. Mine are in the mail. They didn't get here in time, but I'm so excited to have mine. My kids are going to be fighting me for it, but I think they're just amazing. So next on the list, we're going to talk about something we're calling Plottr on Paper by a notebook creator named Audrey Huey. And to do that, I'm going to bring to the stage Troy and Holly.
Hi, everyone. Troy here at Plottr. Our mission statement at Plottr has always been to serve writers. Storytelling is one of the oldest human traditions. It's been used for millennia to pass down things of cultural and historical importance. Through stories, we can broaden our perspective and connect with one another on a deeper level. At Plottr, we believe in empowering writers to craft their stories with clarity and creativity. But we're not just a software company. Our mission statement is to help writers of all kinds, whether they're penning their first novel or refining their next bestseller. And using the Plottr system, we've helped thousands of writers craft their stories their way. But today, I want to show you yet another way that we're aiming to help writers tell their stories their way. Introducing Plottr on Paper. Let's kick over to Holly to tell you all about it.
Hi everyone, Holly here. Let's jump into Plottr on Paper. We wanted to create a paper-based solution using the Plottr system. This could be a tremendous benefit to anyone traveling, or perhaps someone who prefers to work in a more traditional analog way, or even users who are new to the Plottr system. All of us write differently. Many of us get a different feel physically writing ideas down on paper than what we get digitally. At Plottr, we believe in empowering users in whatever way we can, and another tool in your toolkit is Plottr on Paper. So Plottr on Paper has a matte cover so you can write the name of your project on the outside of the book. The table of contents section is broken down just like a Plottr project file with detailed places for each unique part of your story. Think of this as not just a planning guide, but also a story Bible where you can take notes on everything in your story. After the introduction and how to use guide, we get into planning to plot. This is where you write out both your daily schedule and your ideal daily schedule. The first step to get any serious work done is setting aside the time to do so and figuring out how and when that gets done. Inside, we have a weekly schedule so you can make goals and plan your progress and what it's going to look like. After the schedule is done, we can get to work on your project. We will figure out the whats and whys and work at a very basic story premise. We can return to this periodically throughout the book. We get to plan out what readers are going to love about our book and take notes about our project. Next up is my favorite part, the characters section. We get to plan out our MC, the GMCs and traits. We can then go into detail on their history and notes. We use this section to fully flesh out our characters. I find myself often coming back here, even in the writing process, to add more notes to my MC. There are multiple character sections here to go over each major and minor character, as well as all the supporting characters. Next, let's get to places. Each story has a bunch of critical locations. Some of these we know before we start, and others we figure out as we go. Each one now has a home in your story Bible. After that, we have the Plottr staple, the timeline. The timeline is where we actually build out the story. Some writers write out scenes here, others write out beats, and others just the movements of the story as they figure it out. Whatever your plotting method, you can do it here with the timeline. We even have space here to write out the critically important subplots under the main plot. Next, we have the scenes section. This is where you can really go into detail on each of the scenes or beats and really start to brainstorm or craft your story. Plottr on paper will work for shorter novellas and full-length epic fantasy novels with 90 plus scenes. Last, we have the notes and brainstorming session. Any remaining work that you think of or any information important to the story that has no other home can go here. I like to make notes here about future books in the series or other directions my story could have gone. So that's Plottr on paper, guys. A huge thanks to Audrey for helping us make Plottr on paper a reality. And Plottr on paper is available right now. And with that, back to Cameron to share more.
So that's Plottr on Paper by Audrey Huey. And here's a link to get it right now. And we'll post that in the comments so that you're able to also get it there if you miss it. Next, we have a new template for you, the 12 Stages of Intimacy by Ines Johnson. And not only is this a new template, but this is a new kind of template. And I'll explain that to you. So this is what it looks like. At first, it looks like just another template. Now, it starts out with, so there's 12 levels, and each level grows a deeper and deeper relationship. And so you can see the growth in the relationship. It starts with awareness of their presence, then eye-to-eye contact, and then verbal contact, hand-to-hand, and it keeps going all the way to intimate sexual relations. And this is a valuable template because it shows you that there is a set of steps that happen. And Ines teaches more about this, but she talks about how physical changes signify an emotional change or happen because of emotional change, or they should. What if they don't? What if you skip a step? She says that there's problems in the relationships often. Or what if the physical change happens, but the emotional change doesn't? And things like that. So this is a map for you to map out the changes in a relationship and the growth in a relationship. But of course, you can play with those and and mess up the characters because they don't follow the order. And that's how writing goes, right? And one of the things that really caught my eye to this is the idea of making a moment of each one of these steps. So this step right here, eye-to-eye contact. This is one of the things that I don't do very well in my own writing for romantic relationships, of making a moment of each one of these steps. And so that eye-to-eye contact, I know I'm really bad at that. And this has kind of opened my eyes to that, the importance of that, of showing that they lock eyes. There's a moment. It changes them emotionally, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe for one of them, it doesn't change them, and the other one is falling in love. And so that's an important thing. But each one of those moments signifies a deeper relationship, or should be a deeper relationship. And so that has been something that's really opened my eyes to being able to do something better in my writing. And of course, it's just a map, it's steps to follow. But why I think this is different, a new kind of template, because most templates are a method or a structure for your whole story. But this is the steps that a character takes to change, to go from one emotional state to another. Multiple of these could fit in one of your books, and maybe only parts of it could fit in your book. It's not meant to be necessarily the whole thing or only once. It's showing the steps that it takes to get a character from one state to another. And that, I think, is a totally different idea, and something that we could really explore in Plottr. And I think would be really powerful for writers, to give them steps for how does a character go from this to that. And Ines has this idea for another template to go from enemies to lovers. And I can also imagine maybe lovers to a broken relationship. What does it take for them to fall, for their relationship to fall apart? And are there different ways? Are the ways pretty common among relationships? And maybe another one could be a child angry at a parent, going to loving and understanding that parent. There could be hundreds of these, but being able to map that out and give writers the steps that are required to make an emotional change in a character could be really powerful, and could help some of us new writers that aren't very familiar with how do I make a character change from this to that? What are the steps that I need? Could help those writers to figure that out and make more emotional characters, more impactful changes in their lives. And that's why this template is different. And I'm really excited about the possibilities that this opens up for us. And this template is going to be available this month, so be watching for it. It's going to be out there soon. Really excited for that. So we've got two more really big announcements that I'm really excited for. And the first one of those is a family tree. And it looks like this. Or this. Or this. We're really excited about this family tree, and to tell you more about why it's going to be powerful for you and why it's going to be so important for your story planning needs. I'm going to hand it over to Ed, who again is like 3 o'clock in the morning for him. So we recorded him, and I'm going to play him now.
Hey everyone. This year we're unveiling a new feature that's going to revolutionize the way that you work with characters in Plottr. One of the things our users say they value the most about our software is the ability to have all of the elements of your story in one place. That includes your characters, places, notes, alongside your plot planning and outlining. But there's a gap, and I'm going to use a short story to illustrate it. One of our users reached out to us recently and said that Plottr had taken their stack of physical papers and made them accessible. How many of you have, upon receiving a physical book, tried to pinch to zoom after years of having that same convenience on a smartphone? I know I have. And when I receive a physical book, if it's something technical, the one thing I miss the most is the ability to search through to find a particular phrase. Now, what Plottr did for this user's stack of paper is turn them into an interactive, visual catalog of ideas. But there's a problem, because as your book grows, you may have tens and tens of characters, all involved in complicated relationships with each other. Today in Plottr, they're listed, and while you can filter through them and search for specific terms that might be pertinent to a particular character, there's a lot of clicking around and mental gymnastics involved in building the bigger picture in your head. But soon all of that's going to change, because in an upcoming version of Plottr, we're unveiling a new way of visualizing your characters and building relationships between them in the Family Tree Builder. It lives alongside the Characters tab, and here on this large page you can see all the characters of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice laid out. I've dragged and dropped them to specific places and then specified the relationships between them. And now we can see the complicated net of relationships that Jane Austen manages to weave by the end of the book. I'm super excited to go into more detail, and I'll see you later in the PlotCon.
Thank you, Ed. Yes, that's right. We're building a family tree feature into Plottr. We built it to be flexible, easy to use, automated and organized, colorful, and customizable. And we think it's going to be awesome because you're going to be able to zoom in and out, pan around. You can have multiple family trees. You're going to be able to visualize complex relationships, customize the colors, and the organization is automated. And to show you what I mean by that. So you've got your characters here and you're dragging them onto your family tree, and you can see that there's a subtle grid behind there, and they snap to that grid a little bit to make it easy for you. But you're dragging them all out there, and you realize, you've got grandma and you've got grandpa, and there's a lot of different characters, and they're starting to build up, and then you're building the relationships, and it starts getting messy, and you're trying to keep them all organized, but they're just going all over the place. And then you end up with something like this that doesn't look very good. Well, you could take a lot of time to organize that and make it look good, but we've got a solution for that. We've got a one-button solution, the organize button, that'll take it from looking like something like this to this in an instant. Click the button and it'll organize it and make it look nice for you automatically. And of course, you can customize it afterwards to make sure it's exactly how you want to. But I think the family tree is going to help you so much, and it's going to be so great. It's going to help you to visually organize your characters, see holes in your relationships that you couldn't otherwise see, and you'll be able to add characters very quickly to your story in a way that you couldn't before. You're going to be able to organize them easily, and then you'll be able to print it out. And imagine what you can do with a printed out family tree of the characters in your story. Think of a special edition of your book, maybe a hardcover with some gold foil on the front, and think how cool that would be to have a nice family tree in the front matter of your book, and how premium that would feel to people. Or maybe for Kickstarter, if you're doing a Kickstarter campaign, it could be a bonus or a reward or a stretch goal to make a nice family tree. Or maybe you want to put it in all the front matters of all your books so that it's easier for your readers to figure out the family relationships. And maybe you want to put one at the front and at the back for when it changes, because throughout the book, maybe it's changed. Or maybe you have a wiki of your whole world and you have dozens of families or something. How cool would it be to have a family tree for each one of the families on your wiki? Or maybe you have a website. Maybe you just have one page dedicated to a series. And it would be nice to have a picture of a family tree of the characters in the series for your readers to come and understand their relationships better. Maybe it's the reason you get them to come to your website and they can see the other things that you've written, or they can join your mailing list. Maybe it's a reader magnet to get them on your mailing list, or maybe it's a call to action in the back matter of your book to get them to your website so that they'll see what else you've written. I'm sure you could use a printed family tree in many different ways, but you won't be able to just visualize families. Any type of relationship that you can imagine, hierarchies and organizations, maybe love triangles, or maybe even a web of strings, thinking a murder mystery where you're trying to connect all the characters and figure out who done it. The family tree will be coming soon, and there'll be a deep dive on Saturday where you'll learn how to use the family tree, see the upcoming features within it, how it'll work, and we'll answer all your questions. But right now, you can register your interest in the family tree, and you'll be the first to know when it's ready, and maybe you can even help us beta test it to make sure it does what you're hoping it will. So grab that link. We'll also put it in the comments so that you can take this short survey and be the first to know when family tree is ready. And last but not least, besides the otter bottle, this may be the thing we're most excited about, and we're calling it StorySnap. This is an AI-assisted book Bible compiler, and it will make you the most detailed, most comprehensive, most organized book Bible that hasn't existed until today. You'll get a chapter-by-chapter outline, chapter by chapter for each one of the main characters. You'll get the details for all your characters, the details for all the places in your story, and there's way more than you think. It'll pull out information for your world in general and the time period. It'll list all the organizations and groups and list them in detail, all the religions and cultures and any magic system, each and every magic system if you have more than one, and technologies in your story. All those details will be compiled into a Plottr document or a Word document. So this is what one of the results looks like in a Plottr document. And yes, it does put your characters on the timeline and list, and for each chapter will tell you what happened to that character in that chapter. Here's all the details that it pulls out for all the characters in the story. Paragraph after paragraph of information about each one of your characters, and all the places and all the world building that you've done in your story will be pulled out in great detail. Here's what it looks like in a Word document. Again, you get the outline, all the chapter summaries for each chapter, and then all the details for the characters, for your places, and the world. Now, we built it with the idea of combining AI magic with Plottr's amazing ability to organize and be a good book Bible. It uses ChatGPT on the back end for now, and that may change in the future, but it will not train the AI on your work. We built this separate from Plottr, so there's no AI in Plottr, and this is a completely separate system from Plottr. So that means you don't have to be a Plottr user to use this, and there's no subscription. This is a one-off service. You only pay for the books that you decide to upload into this service and compile into your book Bible. And we're hoping that we will save you a ton of time so that you don't have to do as much busy work, and you'll be able to do more of the creativity that you really crave to do. And an important note to make here is this is not AI generating content. This is AI organizing the content that you've already created. It's your work. And AI magic combined with Plottr's organization are able to do this way faster than we ever could by ourselves, by hand. And on average, we're saving people 15 hours per book. Now, this isn't 15 hours of reading the book or typing out details from the book manually. No, this is 15 hours of you uploading a book to an AI and prompting it for details in the book and then copying and pasting those into an organized place. So this is 15 AI-assisted hours of work that is saving you. On average, we're going through about 10 million tokens per book. And if you're familiar with working with AIs, that's a lot of tokens. And of course, it depends on the size of your book. But on average, we're also asking it hundreds of questions. And that would take you a long time to do that. But for our biggest book that we've ever done, it took us 87 million tokens and 1,237 prompts to be able to get all the details out of that book that we could and that we needed to. And it was done in less than 10 minutes. And by our calculations, that would have taken 82 and a half hours to do manually. It'll be as easy as uploading a file to this system, waiting a couple minutes, and then clicking a button to download a Plottr file or a Word document. You'll be able to see how many tokens we used, how many prompts we asked it, and our estimate of how much time we just saved you. And for some use cases, I think this is going to be a game-changing tool. Think of developmental editors. If any of you do that, or if you've worked with a developmental editor, you'll know that oftentimes they'll read through the book and then read through it again, this time writing down or typing out details from the book so that they can finally, after all that work, get to the human creative aspects of helping you and making sure your book is the best that it can be. But imagine this tool working for them. In 5 minutes, they can get a detailed book Bible of your story and very quickly be able to start doing the human creative part of developmental editing and help you make the best out of your book. It'll be very quick, the snap of a finger, to be able to help you, start helping you in your book. Maybe you're a pantser and maybe you you don't want to worry about building a book Bible. You don't want to worry about writing down all those details. You just write your story and move on. That's totally fine now. With this service, just upload it and boom, you'll have a book Bible ready to go so that on the rest, when you're on book 7, book 10 of your series, you've got this book Bible that you're able to search and find everything about all those previous characters very easily. Or maybe you have a large backlog. I know I've talked to many of you who have 40, 70, 90, over 100 books. It's amazing to me. I'm working on like book number 4, and some of you have written so many more books than I have. But many of you said that there's just so many characters, hundreds of characters that you can't keep straight. You could probably write whole other series about these characters, but there's just no way, no time to go back and reread all those books or pay somebody to do that, to find all those characters so that you can write other stories with them. But with StorySnap, we're going to save you 15 to 80 hours of work. It'll be done in just minutes. If you were to pay somebody to do this, it would take you $200, maybe $400 per book. But with StorySnap, it'll be just $50 a book and less when you bundle it with multiple books. From the people that have already used this, they're saying, Katrina said, it's saving me literally days of work. I will absolutely be using this feature for each developmental edit I do. Claire said, wow, just wow, I love this. And Jen said, this is amazing, so incredibly helpful. This is going to be ready for the first 100 people already, and we plan to scale up in January. There's going to be a deep dive next hour on this, and we'll answer all your questions, and we'll show you how StorySnap is going to work and how you can use it. And if you're excited for using BookSnap, you can register your interest in StorySnap. I don't know where that came from. You can register your interest in using StorySnap with this link here. It's just a quick survey, or we'll post it in the comments. And yes, we plan that this will automatically make your family trees for you when you upload this. Eventually. We're really excited to get the family tree and StorySnap into your hands. And we're really excited for next year and the coming 10 years. But it's incredible to think that it's been 10 years of Plottr. It started as a side project, and now tens of thousands of users use it with over 100,000 projects. We have an amazing but small, loving team that is focused on serving writers. Today we talked about the merch store, the replay store, the vault, our otter bottle. We showed you Plottr on paper that's available today, the 12 steps of intimacy template, and all the new templates that can create, or that we can bring into Plottr because of this idea. We told you about the family tree and story snap. We're so excited that you could join us. But we have to tell you about one more thing before we go. And this is an add-on marketplace for StorySnap. Add-ons are extra information that you can add to your book Bible. It's like AI Lego blocks for this AI generated book Bible. So you'll be able to add any additional information that you want to ask the AI, and it'll be added to your book Bible. And the possibilities are pretty much endless. Think of marketing, book blurbs or cover copy, developmental editing. Maybe you want to ask it to focus on specific things or give you suggestions. Maybe you want it to focus on specific pieces of each character, or specific parts of, pull out these details of each character. Or maybe for each chapter, you want to ask it specific things about each chapter. Anything that you're able to come up with, you can add as an add-on in this marketplace. It's going to look something like this, and you'll be able to just easily add more of them as you upload your manuscript. And we've got several partners that are really excited about building add-ons for us that will already be in the marketplace. Future Fiction Academy is building some book metadata and some other add-ons for us. Nick Thacker is building one for book blurbs and cover copy. Jason Hamilton is turning his Story Hacker prompt into an add-on for us. And Kevin Tomlinson is making an add-on that will generate book club questions. So book clubs can talk about your book very easily. And we've left space here for your idea, because this marketplace that we're building will be a place where creators can make add-ons and share them with writers everywhere and make money every time that they're used. So come help us serve writers by building Lego bricks for this AI-generated book Bible service. We're super excited to get this into your hands. And as a reminder, there's going to be a deep dive next hour to learn how to use StorySnap, to learn how to use and build the add-ons, and we'll answer all your questions. So again, here's the link to register interest in StorySnap and the add-on marketplace. And it's ready again for the first 100 authors only if they want to start using this. So this time I really am going to end. And I want to end the way I started, with this quote that means so much to me. Around here, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. Thanks so much for coming, everybody. I hope you have a great PlotCon, and I can't wait to see you in the rest of the sessions tonight. Thank you so much.